Hi guys, Kai here and welcome back. Today I'm going to be bringing you my Premier League predictions for the forthcoming season. It's only a week away, so I thought I'd get this video out now. We did do the same predictions last season. I didn't get many right, but I know quite a lot of you did hassle me because of my Bournemouth prediction, saying that they will finish nowhere near 8th, but they finished 9th, so I didn't do too bad. I didn't see Chelsea winning it though, but they obviously did go out there and become the Premier League champions, so GG to them. Will they be able to do it this season? Will I even predict them to be the top of the table? And we'll have to just wait and see for my predictions. We are going to start from the 20th place and then work our way all the way to the top one by one and see who I predict to be the Premier League champions at the end of the season. So let's jump straight into it, and in 20th place I'm going to predict that it's going to be Brighton and Hove Albion, newly promoted of course after finishing runners up to Newcastle United in the Championship. And they had a great season, good performances all the way through the club, and they've even brought in a good few decent players in there as well. Matt Ryan from Valencia, the goalkeeper, he's going to be a good addition to the Brighton club, and even if they don't finish in 20th place, I still see them struggling, to be honest. There's some good sides in the Premier League now, and I think it's going to be a little bit too much too soon for Brighton, but you never know, they might surprise everybody and stay up. But I think if they don't finish in the bottom, I think they will finish very close to, and probably more likely in the bottom 3, even if not 20th place. But I see them getting promoted. Let me know below, guys, who you think is going to finish in the bottom 3, and let's find out who we're going to see in the next bottom 2. So next up, in 19th position, I'm going with Burnley. Last season I predicted Burnley to finish in 19th place as well, but as you can see there, they actually finished in 16th place, so they proved me wrong. But I think this season is going to be a little bit too much for them. As I said, the same with Brighton. There's quite a few big teams and big players in the bottom few teams now, so it's going to be really hard for the bottom half of the table. It should be a real good scrap there, exciting to watch, but I think this season is going to be a little bit too much for Burnley. Quite a few players have gone out as well, only 4 have come in. Some nice names though, Jack Cork, Phil Bardsley, Jonathan Walters, all seasoned Premier League players. So you never know, again, Burnley could go out and surprise me and prove me wrong once more. Huddersfield Town are the next side I'm going to say is going to finish in the relegation zone, which is a bit of a shame. I do feel a little bit bad for putting Huddersfield in the bottom 3. I think out of the bottom 3, I think Huddersfield are going to have more of a chance than anybody to survive. As you can see there, they've brought in quite a few decent players. Tommins from Derby County, my local club of course, and quite a few other names in there as well, which could help them survive. So I won't be surprised if Huddersfield do go out and surprise me and surprise the Premier League as well. So 18th place, I'm going to say they were the playoff winners last season, and so as I said, they could survive, but I think, in my opinion, they're going to get relegated. So in 17th place I have got Crystal Palace. I think they may struggle this season. They haven't done much dealings, as you can see there. They've not brought many players in or many gone out, so they do have a good core of a squad anyway. So they could do well, could surprise me, but I think this year they will struggle. They do have a new manager though, legendary Dutch former player Frank de Boer, so he might come in, change things up and get them playing, you never know. But I think, in my opinion, these are going to struggle. Huddersfield, Burnley or even Brighton could easily finish above Crystal Palace. They did finish 14th last season, but I think a little bit off the pace this year, and I say around 17th place for Crystal Palace. So one place in front of Crystal Palace, I have the Welsh side, Swansea City. They finished 15th place last season. I have them slightly off the pace, one position behind, just in 16th place. They have brought in Roque Mesa, as you can see there, a few other decent players, not really any big names to speak of. Quite a few players have gone out as well. So I can see Swansea City struggling. I think they're not as good as they used to be when they first came up to the Premier League. So again, these could easily finish in the bottom 3 as well. I think it's going to be very tight there at the bottom with these bottom 5 clubs. Anybody can finish in any of these positions, or even some of them could even creep up a little bit higher. But for Swansea City, I'm putting them down into 16th place. Up into 15th place, I have West Bromwich Albion. They had a cracking season last year, finishing in the top 10. They actually finished in 10th place, as you can see on the right side there. They have brought in Jay Rodriguez as well, a good signing that, from Southampton. Spent a few years there, did really well. So it's nice to see what he can do at West Bromwich Albion. But because of the upgrades around the clubs around West Bromwich and in the middle of the table, I think West Brom will struggle slightly. I think they'll be safe from relegation, so I don't think they'll have to worry about that. but I think they will still struggle come the end of the season. So I've got West Bromwich Albion down into 15th place this season. Watford are next on my list. I have them up into 14th place, better than they did last season. As you can see, they finished in 17th place, but I think with the new additions in their midfield, I think they will do a little bit better this year. As you can see, they've brought in Tom Cleverley. They've also got in a new manager, Marco Silva, and Will Hughes, of course, from Derby County. I've always wanted to see him in the Premier League, so it's nice to see him finally there at Watford. I'm sure he'll do well if he can keep the injuries away. So it'll be an interesting season, this one, for Watford. They could do better, they could struggle. We'll just have to wait and see. But for me, I'm putting them into 14th place. Getting close to the top 10 now, and in 13th place, I have Southampton. Now, these, I think, could struggle. I put them in 13th place because last season they did well to finish in 8th. I didn't want to drop them too much, but as you can see, they have a change of manager. Pellegrino has come in. Jan Bednarak, or however you pronounce it, he's been the only signing so far for Southampton. Quite a few players have left the club as well, so it'll be interesting to see how Southampton get on. But I think they won't do as good as they did last year. But again, they could surprise me, or they could even drop even further. But like I said, I didn't want to put them too far down. I've already dropped them 5 places from their 8th place finish last season, but we'll wait and see. But I think they will struggle a little bit, and it got them into 13th place for Southampton. Now Stoke City next up, they're in 12th place. Last season they finished in 13th place, just outside the top 10. I have them going one better this year. They're always a tough club to play, but of course they could go far down as well. They have brought in a couple of decent players. Darren Fletcher from West Brom. Kurt Zouma as well from Chelsea on loan. I think he will be solid there in the Stoke City defence. Somebody that they really need. Quite a few outgoings there as well. As you see, Shea Given's been released and quite a few others too. And Arnautovic also left Stoke City. But I still got them doing better than they did last year. So we'll wait and see how they get on. But for me, Stoke City are going to be finishing just outside the top 10 in 12th place. Now I've got Bournemouth in 11th place, just outside the top 10 here. They have brought in some good names, and last season I did say that they would finish in 8th place, and a lot of you guys really disagreed with me. But they did go out and finish in 9th place, and that was my prediction, was even before they brought in Jack Wilshere as well. So I'm pretty impressed with that. I knew that they would do well. They've got a great manager, of course, and I have got them down lower this season. But with Jermaine Defoe in there for the goals, they've got Nathan Ake in there. He's there at full time now. They've also brought in Asmir Begovic in goal from Chelsea. They could surprise everybody again this season and stay in the top 10, but we'll wait and see. If they can get themselves 9th place again, I think that will be another cracking season for Bournemouth. But for me, I've got them just outside the top 10 this year, into 11th place. So now we are into the top 10 of the Premier League predictions, and I have Leicester City there in 10th place. Last season they finished down in 12th place, and I was actually thinking about putting Leicester City even lower when I was trying to think of my predictions before we started this episode. But they brought in Iheanacho from Manchester City as the striker, and I think that alone could change Leicester City's season, because he is a class striker. He's always scoring goals whenever he's come on for Manchester City, and now that Leicester City have brought him in, I think he could be the magic that they need to get him back into the top 10. But obviously they could surprise me and go even further down, but I think that will be the star signing for Leicester City this summer. They have got a few other names in there, as you can see. Mahrez still could leave the club as well, so we'll just have to wait, see what happens with the last few weeks of the transfer window. But I think 10th place for Leicester City would be a pretty decent season for the Foxes. So now that we're into the top 10, I'm going to put in a couple of surprises, and for me, the team of the season is going to be Newcastle United. I think they're going to do really well, to be honest. Now, obviously their main aim will just be to stay up, but I think they will go for a top 10 finish with Rafa Benitez there at the top. They have brought in a few nice players as well, pretty decent hard-working players that have been brought in. Quite a few have gone out, but I think it's only to improve the squad for Newcastle. I think it's more of a Premier League side there. Christian Atsu also joining from Chelsea, which is a good sign. He's pretty fast, he can finish, good passer. So wait and see. But I think Newcastle United are going to be the surprise package of this season, and I've got them in a 9th place, top 10 finish. So a good season ahead for the Magpies, I think. Now another one which could surprise you guys is West Ham United up into the top 10. They did finish last season just outside the top 10 in 11th place, but I got them one place above Newcastle United in the league, into 8th place. I think the signings that they've brought in are really going to improve the squad, of course. They've got a fantastic stadium. Zabaleta, Joe Hart, Arnautovic, and obviously Javier Hernandez from Bayer Leverkusen, who's got goals in him. So this could be a really good season. They could even finish higher, to be honest. If those 4 players alone perform, I think they will have a cracking season. But wait and see. Obviously, they could finish lower, could finish bang on 8th place. But for me, it is going to be 8th place for West Ham United, just outside the European spots. But I think they will have a good season ahead. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Into the top 7, I have Everton. They finished 7th last season. I've got them finishing 7th again. I can't see them getting into the top 6, not with the teams that are there right now. All the signings that have been done by the top 6 clubs right now have been pretty insane. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens. But Everton themselves brought in quite a few players, which I think could rattle them a little bit. They've got good signings, don't get me wrong, but I think one too many have been brought in. But you never know, they might be able to pull it off and get a good season and get themselves into the top 6, maybe into the top 4. They do have Wayne Rooney in there, Jordan Pickford in there, David Klaassen from Ajax is a cracking signing, Michael Keane from Burnley, obviously a great player as well. A few other players to add to that lineup, but I think 7th place, same as last season for Everton, again would be a cracking season for the Toffees. Now I know some of you Spurs fans won't be happy with this prediction. I've got them down in 6th place. Finished 2nd last season, had a cracking year, but they haven't brought in a single signing so far this year. They've actually weakened their side because Kyle Walker obviously joined Manchester City earlier on in the summer. So they still have a good core of a player base there anyway, some cracking players already, of course. Harry Kane will be there scoring the goals for Spurs. They've got Dele Alli, they've still got Christian Eriksen, so still a great side for Tottenham, but I think they're going to be slightly off the pace this season. They will have Champions League football as well, which is going to keep them busy. So I think they are going to drop off the pace in the Premier League, and a 6th place finish for Tottenham for me. And back to Arsenal being above them, but where are we going to put them? Are we going to put them in the top 4, or are they going to be in 5th place? Let's have a look. So 5th place, I have Manchester United. Now, they have lost Ibrahimovic and they have lost Wayne Rooney, 2 big players from last season. But Ibrahimovic still could make a return to United when he is fully fit. He is a free agent right now. They have brought in some good signings as well in Matic just this week, Lukaku, and Lindelof as well for midfield. All great signings for Manchester United. I think all 3 of them are going to have a cracking year. But I think they're still going to struggle a little bit. I don't think they're going to be in the top 4. Last season they finished there in 6th place. So a little bit off the pace of the top teams, and I've got them in 5th place for Manchester United. So now we go into the top 4. And in 4th spot, I have Liverpool. Now, they did finish 4th last season as well. I put them in 4th again. Mohamed Salah is their top signing so far this season. He's obviously going to bring in goals. He's a good winger, plays great for Roma. Didn't do too well at Chelsea, but didn't really get much of a chance. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on back in the Premier League. No doubt he's going to be outstanding for Liverpool. It will only add goals and assists for their strikers and midfielders pushing forward. Another good season for Liverpool. I think a top 4 finish is good for Liverpool. I was hoping actually that they'd bring in Aubameyang from Borussia Dortmund, and then the firepower in the Premier League would absolutely be on fire. But so far they haven't been able to do that, and I'm not entirely sure who else Liverpool have been linked with. But I think a top 4 finish would be good for them, so that's where I'm going to be putting them. And now into the top 3, where it means Arsenal are back in the top 3 places, but are they going to be in 3rd? Or are they going to be top of the table in my predictions? Well, they're definitely into the top 2 then. Arsenal, are they going to finish 2nd or 3rd though in my predictions? Right now we've got Chelsea in 3rd place. They were the champions last season, but remember, they didn't have Champions League or European football to worry about last year, which I think was a big factor in Chelsea being able to go all the way and become the Premier League champions again. But this time, of course, they will have the Champions League to look forward to, which I think will put them slightly off the pace in the Premier League. I've got them down in 3rd place. They have brought in Alvaro Morata. Whether he's going to be able to score 20 goals this season, I'm not too sure. He's a great signing, of course, good player. He has got goals in him, but I think Bakayoko would be more important for Chelsea, so it'd be interesting to see how he gets on as well. They've also brought in Rudiger from Roma for their defence, another cracking signing for Chelsea. So again, they could retain the title very easily, of course, if they can keep their standards up. They do have the Community Shield as well tomorrow, as this video goes up on the Saturday. They face Arsenal. Who's going to come out on top of that? No idea. Usually Arsenal have the upper hand usually. But I think Chelsea might just pip it tomorrow. Well, I wait to see. But I think in the Premier League, slightly off the pace for the Championship title. I've got them down into 3rd spot. So into the top 2, and there is my club, Arsenal. Now, I'm probably being a little bit biased here, being an Arsenal fan, of course. But that's the joy of it being my predictions video. I can put them wherever I want. I could have put them top of the table, of course. But no, they are not there. They're going to be 2nd place, I think, this season. They did finish last season in 5th, just outside the Champions League spots, as everybody knows. But now they have started to spend some cash. I say that. They did bring in Kolasinac from Schalke on a free transfer, but then they finally bought a striker in Alexandre Lacazette. I've been asking for this for quite some time now. He's in there. Hopefully he can score over 20 goals for Arsenal in the league alone. We've still got Giroud there as well, and we're still rumoured to be bringing in 1 or 2 to add to the players that are already here at Arsenal. Still rumoured that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain could be on his way out. The likelihood that Sanchez is going to stay at Arsenal looks ever more likely that he is going to actually stay. He is back in Arsenal training, smiling, looking happy. So I think keeping Ozil and Alexis Sanchez at the club is a big deal for Arsenal this season. Even if we lose them at the end of next year on a free transfer, it could be big that we've kept them. And I think that alone will help Arsenal get back into the top 4. But not only that, fight for that title, but just be off it and finish there in 2nd place. So the Premier League champions for the season 2017-2018, in my opinion, is going to be Manchester City. Last year they finished down in 3rd, but I don't think Guardiola would have been happy with that finish, to be honest. And I think that shows in the signings that he's brought in this summer. Bernardo Silva, a top player from Monaco last year. Ederson from Benfica. Kyle Walker from Tottenham, of course. Which will make Tottenham a little bit weaker, so they won't be challenging as much as they were last year. So I think Manchester City will be above Tottenham. Tottenham dropping down to 6 in my predictions. But Benjamin Mendy as well, also from Monaco, good signing, as well as Danilo and Douglas Luiz as well there for Manchester City. So some big names, a lot of money spent from Manchester City this summer. I think, as I said, Guardiola really wants to get City back to the top of the table. I think this year, if Arsenal don't win the league, of course, I think it is going to be Manchester City. But again, as I said, with the bottom 5 clubs being very close, the top 5 clubs as well, even the top 6, Tottenham still could be up there challenging. You never know. They do have a good manager, good set of players, so they could easily finish in the top 4. But I think it's going to be Manchester City on the top. They will be the Premier League champions come the end of the season. Arsenal just behind him. Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United, Tottenham, Everton, West Ham United, Newcastle United, they're going to be the 2 surprises for the year, I think, West Ham and Newcastle. We've got Leicester City down there, Bournemouth, Stoke City, Southampton, Watford, West Brom, and then the bottom 5 clubs could even change very easily, I think. But I think the bottom 5 are definitely going to be these 5 clubs. We've got Swansea City, Crystal Palace just staying safe, and then the bottom 3 relegated, in my opinion, are going to be Huddersfield, Burnley, and then bottom of the pack, Brighton. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Let me know your predictions below in the comments. I would love to see them. I'm going to be checking out some of the other YouTubers' predictions videos as they come out as well before the season starts. We've got the Community Shield coming out tomorrow. We will have a Matchday Live video for that as well on the channel, so look out for that. It will be the first one of the new season, of course. It will be still on FIFA 17, and we won't be able to change the Matchday Live episodes to FIFA 18, of course, until it's released. So it will still be FIFA 17, but it's nice to be back to the new season, and hopefully Arsenal could pick up the first trophy of the new year, and then we'll wait and see who wins the Premier League in May. But there are my predictions. As I said, let me know your predictions below. Leave a like if you liked the video. Don't just dislike it because you don't like my predictions. You never know, I could be right. So more than likely I won't be. But as I said, let me know yours below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.